Welcome to Talk 204, the podcast where we engage with our community, celebrate our successes, and build meaningful connections. My name is Rick Moulin, and I'm the Superintendent of Bonner Springs-Edwardsville School District USD 204. Our guest today is a community icon, Miss Olliea Jarrett. Miss Jarrett is a graduate of Bonner Springs High School, was a Board of Education member for 14 years, and works closely with our schools and our community through the Olliea Jarrett Life Center. Olliea has dedicated her life to making a positive impact on others. Her tremendous work has not gone unnoticed. On February 7th, 2025, Olliea will be inducted into the Bonner Springs High School Hall of Fame. We will talk about that in this episode, along with her work with the NAACP, the impact of the Olliea Jarrett Life Center and the Pantry of Hope, and how community engagement, family, and education are the keys to success. I'm excited for our guest today, Olliea Jarrett, the newest member of the Bonner Springs High School Hall of Fame and community leader. Olliea, thanks for joining us today. What's it mean to you to be inducted into the Bonner Springs High School Hall of Fame?
Well, I would say thank you for the invite. A little strange. I'm humbled, thankful. Education has always been something that is important to me, and so when I got the word, I was a little surprised, but still humble and thankful.
Yeah, very, very deserving of the honor for not only the work that you do in our community, but you served several years on our school board. Let's talk a little bit about your experience at Bonner Springs High School, and what's a moment in high school that you remember that kind of helped define who you are today, or what led you to be so involved in our community?
Well, I think I would start with like some of the friendships that I've made throughout the high school years. There are people that you can still count on and rely on. You see classmates out and about in Bonner Springs. You see people that you've been friends with that you met in elementary school all the way to high school. I love the hometown feel that we have, where we see each other and we recognize that, hey, that's a friend. You don't have to see them every day. You might see them at Tiblo Days. You might see them at the Walmarts. But the friendships and the relationships that you make and made at Bonner Springs are things that'll last you your lifetime. They'll be friends you'll have forever.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. It's amazing. This community is so close knit, and people get along so well together. And we say once a brave, always a brave, and it really means something to go through the Bonner Springs Edwardsville School District. Can you talk about some of the teachers you had at Bonner Springs High School and the impact they had?
I have class of 1989, Rick, so I'll try to remember what teachers had an impact. I think probably with sports and different things, I always think of Shirley Vaughn. I know she's probably a lot of people's favorites. She did teach PE, but made an impact on being aggressive towards life and going after your dreams and working hard. I think that's a lot of things people don't realize, that sports also plays an impact with students and how valuable coaches can be. Shout out to like Coach Mays and different coaches that are in our district that put an effort to make relationships with the students that last a long time. And so I think that's important, running into teachers that actually care inside and outside of the classroom. I can't remember, like I said, I can't remember back that far, but I'm trying to, I think that the role of a teacher is to make an impact on a student. So Cheryl Haneke was also one that I think made an impact on me. Just teachers that acted like they're not just for a paycheck, that they're there to develop our kids and give them a quality education. So Bonner does have a lot of good teachers. We need to pay them a little better. I think that we need to value them inside and outside the classroom, and that's understanding that they have lives and things as well. And so I love the break that they get, and I love teachers, so that's not going to be a problem. Just remembering some of their names would be difficult.
Yeah, I just remember I was actually graduated in 1990, so when I was a junior, you were a senior. And I remember the class of 1989 and the leadership and just being around my classmates and my friends growing up through the school system. Just even though I don't talk to my friends on a daily basis or even a regular basis anymore, you never forget the people you grew up with and the experience.
I think that's the part about community engagement and youth engagement that we're trying to make sure continues in Bonner Springs. We have to push that on our generation that come before us. Hey, Bonner Braves get along. We make friendships that last forever.
That's right.
It's a good day to be a Brave because we respect each other. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's something that I see continuing with the culture as you as superintendent. So that's a positive part of being a Brave, is understanding that we're different and different's okay. As long as you respect it and also value it, because our kids need to understand that differences is what gives you your individual name, who you are, what you represent. A lot of kids don't get that from teachers or from their families. So it starts with everybody knowing their role in the village.
Yep.
And so I think Bonner has done that for me because of the cultural differences and the things that I've been able to learn through the Bonner Springs NAACP and being active in that as a youth, and then also working with the high school because we do work with the diversity team.
Yep.
And I think the model that the Bonner Springs High School has, they're probably one of the only districts that have an NAACP chapter actually welcomed into the school that I know. I'm sure the other districts would not be opposed to it, but we actually do that. And so the diversity that we're nurturing comes from the past, comes from what we keep going good in this district by empowering each other and nurturing the things that are good, because our educators, our teachers are here and doing their role. So shout out to a lot of the new teachers. I work with Emma Long, and I also work with Teresa through the pantry, social workers, the life skills class. We have teachers right now that are showing up for our kids, and so I just thank my teachers for showing up. In 89, like I said, I had to say that I'm a spring chicken, but 89, I mean, that's one of the things. We had an environment where we look forward to going to school. We didn't have a lot of dropouts. We had diversity. We had people that were doing things and stuff, and we just want that to happen generation after generation, that each group has the courage to be the leaders that are in these classes.
Yeah, I remember my first year as principal at the high school. We put together a diversity group, and one of the first phone calls was to the local NAACP to get involved. And Mrs. Harrell, Megan Harrell, and Sarah Benton have taken over that leadership program, and they've really taken things to a whole new level. I mean, they've done some amazing work with our kids in our community.
That's what I'm talking about, is showing up for kids. And I think that that's one of the things that you said, saying words of encouragement. It is about the resilience that lies in all the kids that we work with, but having to be able to see the child see that resilience in themselves is where the task is coming. So it's taking places like the Jerry Lee Jarrett Life Center, like Bonner High School, like churches, like other programs that are all pushing for youth engagement and making stronger students.
Yeah, and you talked a little bit about the Jerry Lee Jarrett Life Center earlier. What inspired you to get this program going? And I know you provide meals for families. You do a lot for the community. What inspired the Jerry Lee Jarrett Life Center?
Okay, well, thanks for asking. I am a member of the Jarrett family, of course, for over 20 years, 50 years, but a member of the Jarrett family, and we had always done some type of outreach. And so as we got with Christ First Ministries, that is one of the things that our pastor wanted us to do, is to find our gifts. So she would have you take this gift test, and everybody would take the gift test, and it ended up leading us in directions that was either your passion or something that you were driven to do. And so I encourage a lot of people, if you haven't found your gift or your passion, that's what the Jerry Lee Jarrett Life Center has been to me, is to be able to line up with the passion that you have inside of you to be able to do things for people. So it would have never been the Jerry Lee Jarrett Life Center. My dad, or even to know that that would be the name of it, that's not the project that he started, but it is where it ended up, because that very first year we started, like I said, we had always been in outreach. And so what we did, we started at Christ First Ministries in our goals and our gifts. And so we said that it was going to be associated around food insecurity. And so the church said if we write these grants and stuff, they would come. And that's what happened. Christ First Ministries has stepped up and has supported the grant. And it is part of an outreach. We had been working many years with the Olliea Jarrett, which is on 5th Street in Kansas City. Shout out to Andra Penn, who is also a graduate of Bonner Springs. They made it very available for volunteers to go to Olliea Jarrett. And so we started out at Olliea Jarrett giving out food, and we would also take clothes. And so we would wash all these clothes, and we'd take a group of like 10 down to the Olliea Jarrett. And we did that for like 5 years. And after doing that, we were like, we're going to make our own Olliea Jarrett in Bonner. And so when we first started off, we were just going to try to make a place where people could come and be connected to resources. And so after we worked on that, my dad was alive at that time in 2018. To get the Harvesters Grant, we had to do a lot of things. And so Jerry Jarrett was very instrumental in that because we had to get the 3-compartment sink. The basement that we started in was scary. So we had to work to get it to where people could eat. The church had not been occupied for like 3 or 4 years. And so when we got in there, we had to do a lot of renovations and a lot of work to get it to where it was up to par. So Jerry Jarrett was very instrumental in that. And as we opened, we only had like nut thins and noodles when we first opened. But we're gonna give this out. We started bagging it up. But what was amazing about working with Jerry Jarrett is he knew a lot of people. And so all of a sudden we had customers coming. Jerry said you had food up here, and Jerry said you need help with this and that. And we're like, where are these people coming from? Me and my mother was like, we've never seen. But what it is, he had ridden around and he had gotten to know people and he was saying hi to people. He was really connecting with his community. Unfortunately, he did pass away unexpectedly in September, and that's also the testimony that goes with the project, Tomorrow's Not Promised. So that's what we say through the project of the Olliea Jarrett Life Center, is do some action today.
Yep.
You don't know if you're going to be available to work tomorrow. He worked it was amazing, the testimony. He was at the Harvesters meeting in September the 14th of 2018. 2019, on September the 14th, he fell dead. So tomorrow's not promised, but that whole time, from the time we got the application till we got the program in hand, he worked. And so that's a testament to work while it's day. Work while you have the opportunity. You may not have the opportunity tomorrow to work. So we got that grant, we got that in place. We lost my father, but then the project was still in motion. So we had a lot of people that supported not just the mission, because that is what it is about, is service to others. Being a veteran, they do continual service, and so my dad had already had that in his life. My mother, who was an ordained minister and in the ministry for many years, they already were doing that. So when they started the Life Center, it was already natural to do that. But everybody who has come after that have come because it is a service mission. Like once you go there and you work at the Life Center, there's been people that have come back maybe 1 or 2 times and you might see them again. There are some people that come every single month. Why? Because it's their mission, it's part of their passion, it's part of what they're supposed to be doing and giving back. That's why it says Jerry Lee Jarrett on the building, is because we want his legacy to live on. But his legacy is the community engagement part, where you support each other. You look at the person's eye and say, what do you need now? Not what I can, I'll listen and it's direct action. And so it's been rewarding in many aspects. Megan Harold, shout out to you. She knows all I do is cry now. Before I was like, I'm tough. I'm a Leo. Most Leos don't cry. I don't care. I cry about everything now because I'm like, life is short. And if it touches your heart, it touches your heart. I'm not going to not be passionate about stuff, because passion also helps you eliminate fear. And that's why we do kid engagement. And that's why the project for Jerry Lee Jarrett Life Center, he always made friends with kids. My dad was a grown man, but I'm like, there's somebody at the door. It'd be like a 7-year-old kid saying, Mr. Jarrett, do you want me to sweep the backyard? I'm like, oh my God, what do these kids want? They would come because a lot of them didn't have money to buy extra things and stuff. And he would tell them, don't steal. If you come to my house, I'll find you a job and I'll pay you. Be a good person. You know, he would encourage kids. some of the baddest kids, and they would straighten up because that's what they need. They need people that care about them. They need people that are going to show up. They need people that are going to ask them questions, put the iPhone down, go outside, you're getting a little chunk. You got to talk to them like you love them. You got to hug on them. You got to, the Life Center is good for that. We do community service for kids that are at risk. We don't care if you've been in trouble. I'm not going around saying, oh, you did this, you did that. I'm saying the church is responsible for the change that we have to see in the kids. It does take a village. It takes the school district. It takes Christ First Ministries. It takes Von Trent. It takes Feeds the Lamb. It takes everybody. We're not in, the Olliea Jarrett is not in competition with anybody to pass out free food. I don't care. I mean, we're not in competition to hear how you got your lights turned off and you don't got gas money. We're not in competition for that. We want people to understand that through our way, I can still talk about Jeremiah 29 because it's the path that God has for your life. It's already predestined. So we're excited about 2025 and the things that are going to happen at the center with the community because we got a good community. That's the thing I like about Bonner is to thank you guys for all the stuff that they've done and that they're going to continue to do. It's working.
Well, and it's a good community because of people like your dad, people like your mom, people like you, and the work that you're doing is amazing. I know that the motto for the Olliea Jarrett Life Center is it's a hand up, not a hand out. Where did that come from, and what does that mean?
That actually came from my dad because we understand that with the times that they're creating barriers for families with the income guidelines and with the things that happened in COVID. There's a population that's underserved, and they're the people that are at work every day. They're the people that are delivering the mail. They're the people that are working at the grocery stores. They're the people that have families, 4 and 5 kids. They're grandparents, assistant. So those are the people that don't get the help. Oh, I didn't make the income guideline by $100. That's not why you should not get food stamps and things like that and assistance. And so the hand up is like, we want you to work. We understand that you're working. And we do have income-driven programs because we run the TFAB. And that's the Emergency Food Assistance Program. And we do run the Commodities Program. So those are government programs that do have income-driven programs. But we actually have a program, and then we work with harvesters. You basically just say you have a need. You don't have to say, I got insurance, I don't got insurance. You don't have to show your income. You just can come to the pantry and say, I'm in dire need of food. And that's what people are saying every day. We are open on the weekend. We're starting to see pickups where if the gate's up, people are coming. And we're not opposed to that because people are needing help. Yeah. And so the handout part is it's okay to work. It's okay to go to work every day. And people are humble. People are scared to ask because they're like, it's a food pantry. They're going to think I'm poor or I need help. Everybody needs help. We just have to figure out a way to approach the person. You're not belittling the person. That's why our motto is we do the work, but we do the work in love. If it doesn't come off as love, then we have to apologize to the person and back up from the situation and say, that's not how I want to handle this. If I'm not going to handle it, because you do have stressful situations that might arise because you're also dealing with mental health issues that we're also trying to connect the community with resources. We work with the First Christian Church and the Bonner Springs Library. We have a new resource guide that's going out that Leslie Laird created that is fabulous. It has all the resources that are in Bonner that you can access right now and stuff. And so that's what the right now and doing the handout and stuff is making sure that the assistance and the services and what's needed is given now, like directly. Not debate about what the problem is, because the problem is we don't have enough food. We're a food desert. I think that if in Bonner what we do is wait till something good that we probably really need, we need to fight for it. We always let it go and then say, oh man, I wish I had a newspaper. Well, we had a newspaper, but nobody let it go. Who doesn't have electronic newspaper? I mean, there's things that we do that's like, oh, we let them tear down our grocery store. Well, maybe they didn't have a choice. Now all we got is a Dollar General and the little selected choices. Shout out to Walmart because they gave us a grant. So the Spark grant and Price Chopper, but it's still very selective for people that don't have cars. Some people are walking. Some people, with our housing authority, they put people in Bonner, and then they know that the Tiblo Transit has rules, a lot of rules. So we are working with a community that needs to look after each other. I think that's what we're trying to do. We do get support of the district, and they understand the handout as well, and they do have Von Trim, but they've been able to utilize us, and so we're working together as we come out into 2025, and this is the first month. In December, we had 200 cars come through the premise, so we know that the numbers are increasing, and what will happen is we'll just get more food.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get more food so we can help the families that are in need, and so that's a positive thing.
So how does it feel knowing that your dad kind of set the wheels in motion for this, and you explained earlier that he unexpectedly passed away shortly after kind of this vision.
Yes.
What would he think about all the work that you're doing? And because this went from something that was taking place in the basement of your church to now this is a primary resource for many of our community members. What would your dad think about this, and how proud would he be?
I think that he would be very proud, but I think that he would also say that we did it together because Guy Tyner, Mr. Anderson, there's so many community leaders. Paul Bush, you could say so many people, even all the way up to our current mayor, Tom Stevenson. We've had Mike Thompson. We've had Willie Dove. We've had people that are also doing other things come and see about the little people. It's about the people that we're looking over and the people that are sometimes don't have a voice. And so he would speak up, keep doing the work, telling the community to keep showing up. If you don't show up, the work doesn't get done. But one of the neat things about it is it's a heart-driven project. So the people that are showing up working hard. And so we appreciate that, and he would just keep saying work hard because hard work does pay off. And I think that's one of the things that we love the community engagement with our youth. It's their effort. You go to have them do something and they're like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm tired. You've been here 5 minutes. You moved 2 boxes. You have to come with the kids. We encourage, like when we do volunteers, we say we want the mom and the kid to come together. So why? So you can work together as a family. And so he'd be proud of his family because we have stuck together, and family is everything. And to my sisters and brothers, family is everything. And so he'd keep saying, keep your family together as a unit. Seek some kind of give back. It's very rewarding. The people that come back say, oh, we don't feel the same. It's like, it's nothing that I can do. I'm not passing it out. But when you leave work in the pantry, you're like, dang, we had a fun day. All you did was pass out free food, but that whole day you feel like you really did something. So that part's also encouraging.
Yeah, and I know we've had a lot of students and families in our district who have benefited from your programs, and so thank you for all the work that you're doing. Also, we've had staff members who have helped volunteer, and we've sent kids down for seniors projects and different things like that.
We're always yelling, it's a great day to be a Brave at the pantry.
That's right.
From the 2nd grade all the way up to BSE to Edwardsville, we've been touched by the educational component of Bonner, and so that we say it's for them. We kind of made the center for kids, and we made it for kids in need of care, and we made it for veterans. And so, yes, we applied. I think it comes from the leadership up. And so, again, we thank you for that support. But we also thank Bonner for just being the hometown that they are, that they care about their neighbor. There was a time everybody knew all their neighbors. You knew who lived next to you. They supported you. You have good neighbors. We have good neighbors. And I think it shows by the way we treat each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've mentioned a lot of names that have helped contribute, from everything from local politicians to community leaders to ordinary people that are doing the work each and every day. And that's part of what makes this such a great community is all the people working together to really try to create the environment that I think you want and that we want in our district. And we want an environment where everybody feels respected, valued, appreciated, and people can be successful.
We always laugh with the politicians. We're like, we don't want to just see you during election time. We want to see you after election time because they're all welcome. We had some judges some people that were campaigning for judges, representatives. They came and used come to visit the pantry, but we try to tell them this can't be a one-time shop. It's a good place to come and meet the community, but we also like donations from politicians.
Yeah.
We also like work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's what most of the people that are coming to the pantry, you're either bringing something or you're taking something. And so we're telling people the blessing is giving, because as soon as we give away what we've gotten, we always get it back. That's what they said. Well, you're giving it away too fast. I need to make space for the food that's coming behind it, because as we're doing the work, if it's done in the right nature and with the right heart, and there has been a lot of people, that's one of the things that we wanted to stress on this visit, that it's the collective engagement that makes a difference towards humanity. It can't be, the Jarrett family, they think they're the bomb. I think I show up. I think my mother's shown up. I think my father has shown up.
Yep.
And it's not bad to show up, but our kids need other people to show up. They need people to understand that they are important, and that is what's happening, because like I said, we're not stressed. In November, we had our pantry, which we give away what we call like a blessing bag that's in honor of one of our volunteers' husbands. And we had 65 volunteers that day that actually came to pass out food. And they were like, well, there's nothing for them to do. I'm like, they're not leaving. They're not moving. It's wonderful. Something had to make you want to come that day and help. And so once you come and help, I promise you'll come back and you'll do it. And if not, you'll send checks, because we get anonymous donations all the time. We actually got one that was for $10,000, and it said, please don't ask. They didn't want us to know who gave it to us. They gave it to us so that we could pay the rent. Wow. And that's what we're paying, and that's what we're buying. We got the Hollywood Casino grant. We got the BK 5K grant. We got the Sparks grant from Walmart. And so we thank all of them. We went into the new year not having any bills. And that takes a burden off of a site director to not to have to worry about where you're going to get the money for this food, because although we give the food away, the pantry spends about $15,000 to $20,000 a year to purchase the food that comes in, because we also get milk, eggs, and that's one of the things that I will give my dad credit for when we're giving out the nut thins and the noodles, because we gave out probably like 13,000 pounds of noodles and muffins from Brill Bakery. My dad said we can't have a pantry without meat. So we actually got a grant from Harvesters that was for $40,000, and so we call her Deborah. We actually have a walk-in freezer that was created for the Life Center that Harvesters brought up over the building so that we can maintain like a disaster relief area, because that's what we are for the Bonner, Piper, this area out here. They're the disaster relief. Harvester will send those products to our facility so that we can be that for the community.
Wow.
So we'd like some sustainability in 2025. We want to pay off the Life Center. We only owe like $72,000, which may seem like a lot, but in 2 months we had raised $20,000. And so if we could get checks or monetary donations, we like those. If you just show up to pick up a box, we like that. If you bring us donuts for the workers, we had a young lady, Sophie, came by and made cocoa. I didn't even know there was a recipe for cocoa. You can make it in a crock pot, and it tastes very delicious. And she came and passed that out. We've had bobo tea for the volunteers, where we had a lady set up a little booth and gave the volunteers free bobo tea for the day. So there's a lot of things that we're giving out, but it all comes with collective action and then understanding about the resilient part. That's what the Jerry Lee Jarrett Life really wants to promote, that everybody has that resilience part in them that is laying dormant, but unless you act on it, it's going to remain dormant. It's to overcome the adversities that you're going to face in life.
Yeah, so you've done a lot for our community, and one thing we touched on a little bit earlier, just briefly, you were also a school board member and board president for several years. What was that experience like for you?
A lot of meetings. I don't think I missed any meeting. I probably missed like 5 meetings that whole 14 years. I learned a lot. I met a lot of good people. There's a lot of good board members in Bonner. They care about their kids. we got a lot of changes going on. I see the little stuff going up, and I support education, public education, because I'm a product of it. And I do think that public education is what you make it. I also went to St. Mary's as for my undergrad and my graduate, and I know you could pray it. I didn't know my first year, Sister Pat Linehan, who she probably retired, but she prayed for her past, present. I was like, ooh, I like college like this. I didn't know that you could pray at college, so it was like, woo. So yeah, I mean, education's important, and I finally did get a button. I was the guest speaker for the Martin Luther King celebration, and it said, education is the key.
Yep.
And that's still my saying today. It's going to be incorporated into the Life Center, I'm sure, on a t-shirt or something, because it's education, not just in the learning aspect. I'm not just talking about a book or walking through a door and saying education to open it up. It's something that these kids can be empowered by, even whatever your economic status is, whatever your traumas is in life. Education can get you through it if you apply yourself.
Absolutely, yes. And I think we share that mindset. Education is the key. I've heard you say that a 1,000 times as a board member, and even as a featured speaker at different events.
Oh, yeah.
You've always talked about education is the key, and I want you to know that you're a true role model in the community. Our kids look up to you. We appreciate all that you're doing. Your work's not going unnoticed. You're doing a lot of amazing things, and I know that your dad would be proud, and the whole Jarrett family is just a great part of our community. Are you ready for our Final Four?
Yes.
All right. The Final Four, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. First thing that comes to your mind, and we'll go here. Okay. So, number 1, what's your favorite memory from high school?
Probably track, because I ran third, and I really wasn't that fast, but I always showed up, and I always liked to pass it on to somebody fast and then would win. So I always liked that, and I like debate, because I always had good friends like Kate Wood and Matt Jones, and they were like a legend. They were like, and I hate that I can remember soil erosion, really? I mean, but we debated on soil erosion, and they said, even when you talk, you sound like you're preaching. So it would be debate, and it would be track, because I did get to participate. Now looking back, I'm like, I was not that good, but I liked it.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
I was aggressive, and I was Charles Barkley. I could do a good turnaround jumper, but I'd elbow you. So
yeah.
Some elbows I got away with. Sometimes Miss Juan would go sit down, you done fouled out again. So, yeah.
Yeah, and what you're talking about with extracurricular activities, they're so important.
Yes.
Because, our kids learn in the classroom, but track and debate and basketball and the things that you talked about are an extension of the classroom, and those are great learning opportunities for students. And it's amazing that most people, when they talk about their high school experiences or their schooling experiences, they don't really talk about what they learned in math or English or science, although those things are important. They talk about their relationships, they talk about the impact their teachers made, and they talk about participating with their friends in different activities. Yes. And so it's good to hear you say that. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
You're good, but you can get better.
Yep.
I always think people, if you're on the right track and you're making good decisions, it's good. And you want people to say, oh, they're doing good, but you can do better. There's always something that you could correct, or you could learn, or you could try harder at. And yes, I think that you're pretty good, and you tell the people that, you're doing good, but you want them to know you. But there's things you can do better. Yeah,
I always tell kids that you either get better or worse every day. You don't stay the same. So you got to continue to work to get better, to improve, because you're either going to get better or worse. It's not going to stay the same. And so you share that same mindset. Okay. What's one thing you're most grateful for?
My family. It's been the support that's undying, unconditional love from your family, and good friends, because they show up when you need them.
Yep. And I know education is the key, but I'm going to ask you this question. If you could give one piece of advice to the students and staff of USD 204, what would that be?
Remember about resilience, and is the capacity to face your fears, to overcome them, to even be strengthened by or even transformed. So have the resilience that lies in all of us. It's the capabilities that you have to choose to act on.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Olliea. I appreciate you being on the podcast today. Talk 204. As always, it's a great day.
Great day to be a Brave.
That's right. Have a good day. Thank you.